Hi, what's up? My name is Adam, and you are on Cyber Raccoon channel. Today I'm going to tell you about the best client and browser online games about space. Watch the video to the end, subscribe our channel, and you will always be aware of what to play today. Star Conflict. Free online space game for PC, released in 2013. A game for those who have always dreamed of being at the helm of a combat starship and taking part in a large-scale space battle. Star Conflict features several dozen ships of various classes, each of which can be equipped and armed at your discretion. In addition to PvP battles, among which there are even large-scale battles between corporations, various missions are also presented here, available for cooperative passage in a team of up to 4 people. Star Trek Online. An online space game from Cryptic Studios, distributed on a free-to-play model. It is an MMORPG set in the setting of the popular science fiction television series Star Trek. The player creates his own character and, in the role of the captain of a spaceship, begins a journey through the universe, exploring new worlds and getting to know unknown civilizations. The gameplay of Star Trek Online consists of completing quests and participating in space and ground battles. Battles in space take place in real time, but in planetary battles it is possible to activate a tactical pause, even if other players are participating in them. EVE Online. One of the most popular client-space MMOs that couldn't get around our top side. EVE Online is a huge virtual universe of hundreds of thousands of players, constantly evolving and changing with their direct participation. Exploration and combat, completing quests, a powerful economy and social orientation. This, perhaps, is not able to offer any other sci-fi MMO, which takes place in space. Plus, EVE Online is a shareware game, although in order to experience all its delights, it is advisable to fork out for a paid subscription. Star Citizen. An open universe multiplayer sandbox that combines elements of first-person action and comic simulation. You can fight against AI opponents and other players in a spaceship, complete various missions, freely visit planets and participate in first-person battles in the spirit of competitive shooters. Star Citizen Alpha 3.4 is currently available, but work is still ongoing to improve the game and add new features. Entropia Universe. Fantastic MMORPG from Mind Arc, where the player expects as many as 5 planets interconnected by outer space. Moreover, Entropia Universe is one of the most advanced sandboxes, a real simulator of virtual life in which you can be anyone and do anything, receiving virtual currency paid for it, which can then be converted into real money and withdraw. Moreover, the game itself is free. Elite Dangerous. Space simulator with an open world and complete freedom of action. Choose your starship and go on a meeting with adventures. One of the most ambitious games on the PC, related to the genre of space games. The proposed universe here, according to the developers, unites 400 billion star systems. It is a virtual reflection of the Milky Way galaxy and contains real-life planets, stars and other space objects. Avorion. The multiplayer sandbox Avorion invites players to travel to the center of the galaxy in a self-assembled ship. Over time, players will transform a small and fragile ship into a mighty starship destroyer, acquire their own fleet, swear allegiance to one of the local factions, and meet worthy companions. The developers created an excellent ship editor and filled the procedurally generated universe with activities for every taste, did not forget about optimization and atmospheric space panoramas. In the MMORPG dual universe, colonists work together to develop colonies and build ships. Infrastructure, trading operations, and all social institutions are controlled by corporations, which are created and supported by the players. Every settler has the right to take possession of a piece of land on a chosen planet, terraform it, extract valuable minerals, and collect aircraft and structures from flexible voxels. Despite the fact that the game is still far from complete, its universe is already densely populated by fans of space constructors. Browser space strategy in which you can create your own galactic empire from dozens of planets and thousands of ships. You will have to start with a single seedy planet somewhere on the outskirts of the galaxy, which has a very meager supply of resources and a useless army. But competent study of new technologies, successful trade and cunning diplomacy will help you quickly get on your feet and show other players emperors who are the true ruler of the universe. If cunning and deceit are not to your liking, defend the Starfleet and conquer the universe of your will with the help of force. No Man's Sky. The serene sandbox No Man's Sky has won the hearts of thousands of space romantics eager for exploration and discovery. Inspired by classic science fiction writings, Hello Games allows pilots to freely travel through deep space, land on any planets, trade, extract resources and blueprints to create unique equipment, buildings, as well as air, land and even underwater vehicles. All planets in the game are unique in their own way. You will face amazing natural phenomena and incredible creatures. No Man's Sky has a great visual style and fully supports VR headsets. Empyrion. The adventure survival game Empyrion is also built with a focus on construction. Whether it's a capital ship, a space station, or a planetary building, thanks to the powerful, multifunctional constructor, players will be able to embody their most cosmic fantasies in it. All objects and bodies in the procedurally generated solar system of the game are entirely composed of voxels, which means they are subject to deformation and destruction. Players can unite in military alliances and jointly survive, competing with neighbors for valuable materials and land as in a full-fledged sandbox. Astro Lords. Free online strategy with excellent 3D graphics and real-time hurricane battles. The game uses advanced Unity 3D technology, thanks to which it has successfully adapted to a wide variety of platforms and formats. In addition to the browser version of Astro Lords, there is a client for Steam, as well as mobile versions for Android and iOS. Due to this, the game is always consistently high online, which makes it easy to find opponents or allies. The essence of the gameplay is the capture and development of asteroid bases, where new ships are produced, factories are built, resources are extracted, and new technologies are researched. The more such bases under the control of a player, there are wider opportunities for him. VEGA Conflict. A fun and completely free space MMO with epic battles in open space. Create your own Starfleet and lead it in the most epic space battle beyond imagination. The special beauty of the local battles is that you have to fight not with AI, but with other players, and in real time. In Interstellar Rift, players build not just starships, but real space houses and even automated factories, fully thinking through the internal logistics of the ship. There are also more familiar activities for spacemen in the game, for example, the development of asteroid belts or trading with local posts and other players. And for those who like to shoot, there is always a place in the wing of the alien bounty hunters. SPACERIFT, Arcanum system. Space MMO with an open world, dynamic economy and good physics of flight in airless space. The game space is based on 15 spacious sectors, filled with stations, points of interest and random events, which for unwary pilots can end in the irrevocable loss of the ship. SPACERIFT players build battleships and team up to challenge the unknown together, while the bravest explore the secrets of outer space as they travel through wormholes. A browser-based multiplayer game from Big Point Games that allows you to plunge into the atmosphere of exciting space battles between players and NPCs, divided into 3 factions and waging an ongoing war for influence and resources. A large selection of upgradable ships and interesting tasks attracted the attention of a huge number of fans of online space simulators to DarkOrbit. At the moment, it has over 300 million registered users. Gangs of Space. A fun 2D multiplayer action game in which players divided into several factions fight among themselves for control of the galaxy. And although the work on the development of Gangs of Space has been officially discontinued, the developers announced this in the fall of 2018, you can still go into it and take part in exciting space battles with the participation of dozens of players. It is noteworthy that the global galactic map in Gangs of Space is divided into sectors indicating the factions that control them, which allows you to get an idea of the successes of allies and enemies, as well as to choose the most favorable area for an attack. Starfall Online, a free browser game about a global space war in which many corporations and groups fight for the right to decide the fate of the universe. Starfall Online is a full-fledged space simulator with an abundance of possibilities that allows players to freely travel through the virtual universe, completing story and side missions, as well as doing any craft they like. However, the main emphasis in the gameplay is made precisely on multiplayer battles, which, by the way, take place in real time and use advanced space ballistics. Star Trek: Alien Domain, a relatively new online project in the Star Trek universe, released in January 2018 and available for PC completely free of charge. Star Trek: En Territoire Alien is a multiplayer strategy game in which the player will have to create a Federation fleet and participate in battles against its many enemies. The development of the base, the study of technologies, the design and creation of new types of ships, standard and rather boring gameplay for the genre, which will interest primarily fans of the franchise. Out of Space, a cooperative multiplayer game about life in space. If in other games you have not thought about how the ship's crew lives, then in this project it is the basis of the gameplay. Interacting with other players, you have to work as a team and solve various problems. For example, challenge aliens, build rooms, recycle various materials, grow crops, clean and so on. Moreover, such work will not seem like a routine to you, and only in a team can you achieve results and create a truly cozy and safe space house. You can play alone, but it will be boring, so call your friends. Battlefleet Gothic, Armada 2. Real-time strategy game based on space battles in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. It can be played alone or against other players in multiplayer mode. When creating the sequel, the developers pursued the goal of making it head and shoulders above the original, and they did it. Choosing one of 12 factions, you have to manage a huge space fleet and take part in intense battles. Ships can be improved, as well as pump their abilities. In addition to the usual shuttles, you can use the Titan's huge and very powerful ships. Galaxy Trucker. The game is an adaptation of the Space Truckers board game. She is both serious and humorous. For example, the developer suggests that you build a spaceship from water pipes, as well as try to cope with the controls, even if you lose 4 engines out of 5. Yes, you can assemble a shuttle from almost any item, and then test it for performance and durability. In space, your opponents are local pirates, smugglers, and meteorites. There is a single-player mode with a non-linear storyline, but online battles taking place in various modes are much more interesting. Space God. Top-down shooter in retro style. Controlling a small spaceship, the player will take part in hot battles accompanied by explosive and vivid special effects. You have to fight a variety of opponents, from small shuttles to large bosses. Space God pays homage to the classics. Everything is in the best traditions, a large set of levels, continuous battles, the ability to improve the ship, or buy new ones, 3 difficulty levels, various modes. For the most experienced, there is a series of tests. You can play alone, in co-op and online against other gamers. If your favorite game is not included in this list, write it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, press like, turn on notifications, and you will always be aware of what to play today.